Today we're going to be installing seat covers from Trek Armor on our 10th anniversary Rubicon. The question you're asking yourself is, why would I want to cover up these limited edition fine red leather seats? Answer is simple. I want to keep them this way as long as I possibly can. The sun out here in Southern California can be rather brutal, so I want to keep them, well maintained and looking as new as possible as long as I possibly can. Also to keep some of the elements out, like rain and dust and dirt and everything else that would normally get on the seats when out on the trails. So let's take a look at the seat covers and see what we get. So after doing a lot of research, reading a lot of reviews, and talking with existing Jeep owners about what seat covers they have on their models, it appears that Trek Armor is the industry leader with the best quality, fit, and finish of seat covers that are out there. So I wanted to stick with the best quality to make sure I kept my seats in as much factory condition as long as I possibly can. And they also offer a lot of customizations that you don't get with other seat cover manufacturers. You'll see here that I wanted to keep the red theme going with the 10th anniversary, so I got the red inserts for the front and the back seats. And I also got, let's see if we can get this zoomed in here, the red stitching around the seats as well. You probably see it a little bit better once I get the seat covers on. So you see here, those are the two front seat covers, and those are the rear seat covers for the Unlimited model. So let's go ahead and get this started. So I've prepped the seats for the seat covers installed, cleaned them down, removed any debris, anything that would be underneath the seat covers once they were installed, just to eliminate any possibility of damage to the leather seats. So we're going to start in the front driver's side section first. And from what I've seen, starting with the base of the front seats is the best place to start, so we're going to start here. So starting off on the front driver's side seat, you'll see here that I put a plastic bag in between the top and the base of the seat. This is going to allow me to get basically the feed through the base part of the seat here, and allow me to run it through the back. From other installation videos I've seen, it really these get caught up. You see the Velcro right here gets caught up on the inside part of the seat, so this will make it easier to put through. So you'll see here I just have this string and I put that through the loop there. I'm just going to run this back through here, and then pull it out the other side to allow me to pull that out a little bit cleaner. So you'll see here, there's the one side and there's the other end. So we got two ends there, and I'm going to fit up the seat. Okay, so you'll see here I was able to pull the flaps through with the cords. You'll see here and there. Alright, so what we're going to do now is just pull out the plastic bag from underneath. There you go. And it'll leave us with insert here. Pull the cable out. Now that we have the base of the driver's side seat cover on, we're going to work our way up and do the top side. So first we're going to remove the headrest. I'm just going to move the seat up here a little bit. And you're going to have two releases here to remove the headrest. One on either side. You'll see here and here. Just simply push them in to loosen them up. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. There we go. All right. So now it'll allow us to slide the seat covers down. So you'll see we have our plastic bag fed through between the seat again, so we'll be able to get the flap for the top seat through a little bit easier. And we've also removed the headrest. So now what we're going to do is slide on the top seat cover and get that fitted in. Now in order to get the top flat through, we're going to use the same string that we use for the base of the seat in order to pull that through the midsection. Alright, so you see we're able to get the top of the seat cover installed. We were able to feed it through on the base of the seat back to the back. And see if I can show you the flap when it pulls through. So you see here's the base seat flap, and then here is the top seat flap. And they're just going to connect Velcro up underneath here to keep it in place. And there we go, we have the full seat. Now we're going to let this sit right here for the top headrest, right? There's going to be those two openings. You remember, here's the passenger seat, so you see what it looks like. There's going to be two openings here. We're going to give this a couple weeks of use, let it stretch out, let it really take its shape before we can cut these open and insert the headrest pieces here. This will make sure that this doesn't slide around and we're left with a cut opening on the top there. A nice little bonus feature that the Trek Armor seat covers give us is on the driver and the passenger side. If you look inside here, there you go. They give us a plastic sheath right here for lumbar support. So if you have like an air bladder or something a little bit more solid, you can put it in here and get a little bit more support for your back on those long runs on the highway before you get to the trails. So that's definitely a nice little bonus feature there. So we have our seat covers installed on both the front and the passenger seats. We're going to work our way into the rear seats. There's basically going to be four main components. There's going to be a base component and top component for the smaller seat, which is behind the driver's seat, and then you're going to have a base component and the larger component for the other half of the bench seat. We're going to start off with the smaller one first. Again, we're going to start off with the base of the seat, and we're going to use the same installation method that we use for the front seats with the plastic bag in between the base and the top portion of the seat. This install is going to be a little bit easier because you can actually flip this seat down and get a little bit better spacing between here, which will make it easier to pull that lip through for the base portions of it. So let's go ahead and get that installed. So I wanted to show you a kind of a quick tip for doing this piece. You just kind of loosely fit the side over here and then pull the seat all the way down, right? So it folds in, and that'll allow you to get into that section relatively easy right here. So you just kind of pull that down. You'll see how easy that was, and then it just kind of forms over the seat. That'll allow you to get the seat squared, and then you'll be able to pull the tab right here. There it goes. See right there? And then I'll just lift the seat up. See it's basically in place. We've got a little touching up to do, but we'll be able to pull out the plastic bag and then line it up. Now that we have the smaller base of the rear seat in, we're going to install the top part of the smaller section. In order to do so, we're going to need to remove this headrest. So on the fabric right underneath the headrest, you're going to see the two basically clamps to keep it in place. There's going to be a little press on either one. You'll see it's going to move up a little bit here. And then over here, you just press them both in. It's kind of difficult to do with one hand. There we go, and you'll see that it slides right up. You'll see on each of the posts there's going to be a notch where the clips go in. And then let me see if I can show you, there's a clip. It's probably not the best focus, but you'll see it right there. And this is going to now allow us to fold down that seat and install the top portion of the seat cover. So when you're installing the top portion of the seat, it is much easier if you just unlocked it and moved it forward. You'll see here you get a little bit more room to play with. And then you just take a little bit of adjustment, just kind of, wiggling it back and forth, left, right, so that the posts line up, and then the seat lever release lines up with the space provided. Now for the flap, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to slide the plastic bag in between the seats, and then put this underneath the plastic bag, making sure the bag's on top, so it allows it to go through smoothly without catching on the Velcro sections on the back. And then we're going to, you can just connect this. So if you see here, there it goes. You just kind of lock that in place and then pull this flap over. And just get this underneath there. There we go. And pull that flap over, and that kind of closes that in there. So let's go ahead and we'll slide that panel in, and we should be set with this one. There we go, we were able to get that in rather smoothly. Once the plastic bag was in place, folded the flap underneath, was able to pull it through, and then you can see, or maybe not, there we go. You can see where we're able to connect the flap here. So you just pull this through, and then connect it to the back portion and keep it locked in place. Okay, now we're going to work on our last section. This is going to be the larger portion of the rear section bench. It's going to be a little bit more challenging, only because we need to work our installs in with the seat belt. So there's going to be a bolt behind here. You see it right there. We're going to need to remove, so we can actually feed that through the seat cover for the top portion. But for the base portion, it's basically going to be the same thing we did for the smaller side. We're just going to kind of loosely fit it on around here, and then we're going to pull the seat down and then kind of fit it in through here. So here's a larger section of the rear seat. I wanted to show you when we folded it down, you get a lot more area to play with in order to fit this one section in, right? So instead of trying to push in between the two seats here in order to get both these pieces in, once you fold them down, you have basically an open area to play with in order to get that center section of the seat cover down and installed properly. Now we're going to take the seat down, and we're going to take off the bolt that holds the seat belt, and just going to use an 18mm socket and a ratchet to get it removed. Now that we have the bolt removed and the seat belt can be taken through the seat, we're going to lift the seat up here, and we're just going to pull this through. There we go. So now we can feed this seat belt right here through the seat cover to the back. Alright, so just like we did with the smaller section of the rear back seat, we push this forward a little bit so we get a little bit more play, and then we just put the top on and start pulling it down. You'll see here's the seat belt. We pulled it up underneath the seat, and it goes through the loop here. You can see. And then once it pulls down, we're going to be able to feed it back underneath and then reconnect it. So let's go ahead and pull this down. Now, one easy thing I found out, when you're pulling the seat down, just kind of line these holes up. You'll be able to shift and pull the seat cover back and forth to get it centered on the seat once it's down a little bit further. So you'll see here that we've now pulled the back seat cover down. We've fed our seat belt through the loop there, and then we're going to push this up and underneath. You'll see here are the flaps. We're going to use the same install method by placing the plastic bag in between the base of the seat and the top of the seat, and then we're going to feed this again through the back and then reattach it to the back. So you'll see we pushed our lip underneath the seat, and then we should be able to have it. There it is right there. If it focuses in, there we go. Actually, I'll just pull the bag out and you'll be able to see it. Much easier. There it goes. Let's just pull it through tight, and then we're just going to attach it here. Right here, and just attach all the way across. There we go. We got the back attached. It's up underneath and attached to the back of the top part of the seat. Just lift our seat back up. So we'll still have this one piece here. So there's going to be this one Velcro strip. We're just going to pull the front part down and attach it there. And then this piece is going to go up underneath and connect it there. There we go. So we got that connected. Now we're going to reattach our seat belt by taking this portion here, pulling it down, and then sliding it back to the seat, underneath the seat. And then just make sure you reattach it in the same position, and then torque it down to factory spec. I'll have to look it up. I'm thinking it's like either 26 or 28 pounds torque, but I'll check it out and make sure. Alright, back seat covers are complete. Everything's on. Seatbelt is reattached and torqued down. Covers are on. Now the only thing we need to do is do the two headrests for the rear seat. Let's get to them now. Because of the size and shape of the headrest and the headrest cover, it's fairly self-explanatory in what direction the headrest cover goes on. But if you just want additional confirmation of the direction you're putting it on, so the Made in the USA tag is going to be facing the rear of the Jeep or the back of the head seat. And there you go. Now we have all 4 seat covers finished and the 2 headrests for the back. The 2 front headrests, again, we're going to give it a couple weeks, let the front seat covers acclimate a little bit to the passengers, get them to move around a little bit before we cut the holes for the tops for the seat headrests up there. But overall, install time was about, I would say, between 30-35 minutes once I got the plastic bag install trick going. Then it became really easy. I was able to slide it through and didn't have much problem getting the pieces through the center section of the seat in order to connect it to the back sides of the seat. Let me see, I'll give it a little bit of walkthrough. On the front seats, again, as I mentioned before, it's got a section inside the front seats for both seats for lumbar support. So if you have an air bladder or something else a little bit more solid to put in there for some long trips, definitely take advantage of that. It gives a little bit more better comfortable ride over the factory seats. You'll see here on the front it's going to have a zipper for additional storage, and it's going to be both on the driver's and the passenger seat. And you're going to see they're going to have the MOLLE straps go around, so you can put additional storage containers or anything, like flashlight, something else you want to put on back there. And on the backs of the front seats, you're going to see they're just littered with MOLLE panels. Awesome for putting some additional storage containers or MOLLE bags onto the back of them. And then you'll see here it's got a zippered pouch for additional items, like if you want to put trail maps or additional documentation, things like that. Same thing on the driver's side. So these definitely give a few more options with additional storage. And on the rear seat, same thing. You'll see here if we fold them down, we'll have the MOLLE straps across the back. You can put additional MOLLE bags or the additional, other items you want to carry on the back seats. So to give you a lot of options. Overall fit and finish so far, I think these are worth, every additional penny to get these over some of the other ones. These are really high quality stitching. You see here, I got to match the inset to the panel in order to keep the red theme of the Jeep going. Definitely a high quality product, and I would highly recommend these guys. So I'll be back in about a week or two, and then we'll do the headrest for the front two seats. So after talking with Mitch Walk over at Trek Armor, I found out that I actually installed the headrest and the seat covers wrong. So originally I had cut these two small holes and then inserted the headrest stems into the holders, but as I quickly found out, it was a pain in the ass to get the headrest off if I ever needed to once the covers were on, because it actually hides the release tabs. You'll see over here, I did it the correct way, cut them out, and then the tabs are above it. You actually can't see at all where these were cut out. So I'm going to show you how I did it on the passenger seat here to make it match up like we do on the driver's side there. So you see here, we're going to use the existing holes that I've already done here. And what I'm going to do is just use a knife. You can use an X-Acto knife. Any really fine, sharp knife will do. And I'm just going to cut a larger X out of the holes. Now I'm going to use the outside part of the ring, the trim ring for the head cover, seat cover headrest to use to cut it too. So I'm just going to cut these out. And I'm just going to cut them into an X. That'll allow me to fold the pieces in and underneath the cap for the headrest. So you'll see here, it's just basically just cutting out an X. I'm just going to cut some pieces here. That's it. So you'll see here, pretty simple. And in talking with Mitch, these seat covers were meant to be cut, so there's not going to be any fraying or any pieces that'll peel off. So now we're going to just take these pieces and just basically put them up underneath, and voila, there's our first one. So you'll see here, clean all the way around. The piece that we cut out is going to be smaller than the actual cap itself, so we can tuck it up underneath, and now we won't show any lines around the top of the seat cover. So let's go ahead and do this next. There we go. Again, the X does not have to be large. It should be smaller than the diameter of the top cap here. And then we're going to open it up and tuck it around. There we go. Now we're going to finish it up by putting the headrest on. So all we're going to do is take the headrest, put the stems in the holes, and then push them down. And then you can adjust it with the tabs on either side of the headrest receivers to move them up or down. There you go.